All right. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Pit Against a Live Push-Up College Show. I'm William Table and Legs, joined by my constant co-host Kevin Smurph Murphy. Kevin, what's up?
What's up?
Pit Against is a live call-in show. If you'd like to be live on air talking to us about your take, join the Pit Against Discord by clicking on the link that's in the description. Then join the waiting room channel, put your hot take in the topics text channel, and if we like your take, we'll pull you in for a mic check and then put you on air. We're still in the lull. We're still in off-season.
Yep.
Yeah?
Which, this is actually something when you posted on Bluesky yesterday, I think somebody said that they didn't like the spoiler season setup. Or maybe I saw this somewhere else, but I kind of agree with that, where it's like, I understand taking Christmas break, but it's like, we still have another 2 weeks until we're doing anything, like, organized for the game. Which I guess it's only 1 week, because we get a stream from Toronto next week, but
yeah.
like, we're having 2 events unstreamed, and we're still waiting on more spoiler stuff, which is in like 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, everything kicks off again.
It just blows up.
Yeah, because we have world premiere, and then we have pre-release, and then we have release weekend with Memphis double calling, and then we have RTNs for 4 weeks, and then we have Battle Hardened schedule opens back up for like 2 straight months into Nat season. Or PQ season into Nat season, excuse me.
Yeah, because we talked about it right before the show, but like we got 2 Battle Hardened coming out this weekend. Atlanta and Hong Kong, neither of them streamed. And so really like those are going on, but the only thing that's like going on for the wider Flesh and Blood audience, which would include watching live streams, is going to be until Toronto in a few weeks. So
Toronto next week.
Next week. Yeah. I think that's it. If you want to get straight into calls, because we have a caller.
Yeah, I'll go grab him.
Heck yeah. And then I can tell the audience from a different seat that if you want to be live on air talking to us about your hot take, like let's say Dromai was always an unfun hero and LSS should never have printed it, you can come on here and say just that. Not that we'll agree with you or make you feel good by the time we've left. I'm just kidding. We're going to be very sweet. But we will challenge that take and love to have an in-depth conversation about it, just like the one we're about to have, which Kevin and I were both really excited. We read this take earlier and we thought it was really interesting. And so I'm excited to hear them break it down a little bit more and then us tear it apart a little bit, because it's actually kind of exciting. Other than that, if you wanted to support what we're doing here, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/thetablepit. It's either the table pit or at the table pit. And then also we have a merch store, which is at fourthwall.com/something. It's got a really long it's got a long thing, but if you go to the description of this video later, or if you check out any of our social medias, like we're on Bluesky, you should be able to find your way eventually to where we have merch. We have t-shirts for sale that have, are the Table Pit logos, but then also funny ones like I like my cards. I think it was like uncrust. I like my cards uncrusted, where I take the crust off of the cards. And it looks like Kevin's back with a caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Leah. I'm in Michigan.
Michigan. Wow, fascinating. Kevin, you are a series of purple dots. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, took a second.
How's the weather in Michigan right now? We're about to get snow this weekend.
And we've had a dusting of snow.
Okay.
There's rain, then snow.
Cool. What would you like to talk about on the show?
All right, so I saw on Bluesky a request for a hot take. So my current hot take is that Blitz and possibly also Commoner should be a -1 intellect format. Just a blanket covering that everybody plays at -1 intellect. It's not the penalty where it goes away. It's just for the duration of the game. It would be easy to add to just the rules of the format for Blitz, and I feel it would lower the power overall.
That's actually really... I think there's a lot... I think it sounds really good on the surface, but it also can be broken down much further. Like there's like actually a lot of layers to it. But on the surface, it actually sounds like super cool because one of what seems to be people's problems with the format is it's so fast that there are no decisions to be made if someone just plays the first 5 correct decisions, right? So, right? Like, I mean, you can always pitch your reds, but like if you play the right cards on the right way, you could just win a game in like a few turns. And
sure, but like that's not because necessarily it's like the correct decisions. It's like significantly more often than in CC, the game is decided by the top 12 cards of your deck.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good way to word it.
And it's not necessarily because of decisions you made. It's just because you have lower health. So it has a higher sensitivity to variance. I think the asterisk I'm going to put on this is limited formats should remain base intellect.
Ooh, that's a good one, actually. Oh my gosh. Gordon, that was so loud.
That was not Gordon.
That was definitely Gordon.
That was not Gordon.
Was that not Gordon?
Nope.
Holy frick. Am I the only one who heard that? Is that my head? What the frick? Okay.
That was, I assume, lag from caller.
Okay. It could have also been maybe me or something. Are you still there? I saw the blink. Okay, so I'm gonna give the next point. So what are the ramifications of a -1 intellect format, right? So like, the first thing that I thought of was, so the first thing I thought of was it's technically like errating all heroes, right? Like,
yes,
reading the card wouldn't necessarily explain the card when it comes to intellect. You'd have to know a bit more about the format.
Which has an issue then with like all the product you're printing for your limited formats, where you put all the heroes at 4 intellect, and then what happens to Data Doll?
2 intellect. That's pretty low.
That's pretty rough.
That is pretty rough.
Like that. So that being said, Data Doll would actually, if you left Data Doll at 3, you would be way too good. Putting her to 2 is probably just killing the deck, regardless of what cards you print, basically. So I think she would like take a nerf somewhere else if they did this, and then she would stay at 3 intellect with everyone else. But like 3 intellect, it solves like my biggest problem with Blitz as a format, which is you're playing cards that are balanced for CC.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, which they did help a lot with like the whole book bans, because those were both CC and Blitz. But I still like have an issue because like Blitz is using it's all the CC cards in a 20 health format. Your armor matters that much more. I think you can do this in Blitz, but not in Commoner. I think Commoner games go to fatigue significantly more often like this.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to say that your numbers decks kind of excel, but like your synergy decks are going to struggle a lot more.
Yeah, that was
Brute gets a lot less oppressive though if they're 3 intellect instead of 4.
So the thing
or not less oppressive, less feels bad.
Less feels bad. The thing I was the second thing I thought of was disruption becomes better and synergy becomes worse, right?
Yes.
So you got less cards in your hand, so cards that like, let's say, Salt the Wound, where it's like it gets +1 for each time you hit. Well, you're gonna hit less because you have less cards in your hand. Whereas cards like Spinal Crush,
even just like Spreading Flames.
Yeah, Spreading Flames gets much worse, right? Whereas like Spinal Crush is like you're a Rune Blade and you drew like 2 non-attack actions, so now your hand blocks for 7. You can block 5 and keep 1 card in hand, and then you still get hit by the attacks.
But you don't care. You only have 1 card. You're not go-againning.
No, yeah, I guess that's true.
Like,
But,
Spinal Crush
still.
also actually gets worse because people aren't punished as much by losing Go again. So, like, your on-hit effects scale independently of this. Because it depends on what the on-hit effect is. Like, Snatch is just worth so much more.
Okay, yeah. I guess
Snatch on
it
hit
does
is worth so
depend
much
on
more.
the on hit, right? So like if it's
But
CNC
like Crippling Crush
pummel,
is like, yeah, CNC Pummel is devastating.
if they have an arsenal, then you have taken
if they
half
have an
of
arsenal,
their
you took their entire
resources
hand.
Yeah. You took like half the resources available to them.
No, you took all of them because they probably blocked the CNC.
Oh, they blocked the CNC, then you pummeled, and then you've taken everything and dealt 4 damage. Oh.
So like,
yeah.
The scaling is not perfect, like 1-to-1. All of the on hits would be reevaluated in their effectiveness. Because you are still playing like the CC level cards. It's just like your ability to have high synergy plays drops significantly. Like 3 Oak becomes an absolute bomb of a card.
Yeah. Harder to play.
Lexi probably becomes close to best deck because of it. Like, she can block 6 on a Spinal and then Tunic a 3 Oak and play her turn.
Holy freak. Okay, what was our caller's name? Started with an L. Was it Lisa?
I wasn't here to hear it.
Oh. Caller, if you're there, go ahead and interrupt us at any time.
Yes.
Because we don't know if your mic's working or not. You might have to close Discord and come back in. But we haven't been able to hear you. So like it's so interesting, right?
There's interesting... It is a very interesting idea because it fundamentally, it changes everything. Like, it literally changes all the math, all the interactions, everything like that. On hits get way more... have to completely get reevaluated. Your synergy stuff drops a lot, which means your 20 health total is not as impacted turn to turn. There's a better way to put that, but that's the immediate one.
Right, so like if what they could do on a turn is play any number of head jabs into Wounding Blow, their damage output is 10 as opposed to 13, which does matter.
It does matter, but they also took less damage to do that 10.
Yeah.
Because they're only getting hit with 3 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's a really...
slower.
The games are significantly slower. Because also just, like, you're not 4-card blood rushing with KO, with a Wild Ride. You don't know what you're drawing into unless you have an arsenal. So, like, for your synergy plays, you really have to set up. So, like, your Sync Blows get way better, your Fate for Scenes get way better, your Scar for Scars get way better, your Snatches get way better.
Plays.
Like, the 1-card plays get way better, your weapon becomes significantly more important. Titan's Fist probably becomes the best weapon in the format.
Okay, so here's actually... So I think the main problem with this is I think it would require a ton of testing, and certain things would need to be shaken up. And ultimately, the biggest problem, which I'm not going to get into, like, it's the hugest problem, and I'm not going to get into, is just logistically, it's just too much to do to change something like that. Maybe it's like a for fun, like, kitchen table format you could try out.
Yep.
Which I think I would start by making the most broken deck you could think of and working backwards when building that kind of thing.
Yes, starting with like the current Blitz ban list, yes.
Yeah, I would do that, like, just to see how the format feels. I don't know if our caller has done that yet or not, but if they have,
that'd be really interesting to see.
That would be really interesting to see.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you. I forgot your name as well.
Sorry, it's Leah.
Leah.
I don't know what happened to my mic. It just died.
It happens. Life happens like that. Do you have anything? I don't know if you could hear us. Do you have anything you wanted to add to what we were saying?
I did hear most of it. So I hadn't decided if maybe as cards continue to enter the card pool for Commoner, we might eventually want to consider a -1 intellect format. But the other thing I also liked about this is it scales nicely without having any bans or errata to existing cards. You don't have to change what any of them say. You just have to kind of teach players this is what the format is. So it would be just say Blitz is a -1 intellect format. You don't have to change the cards. And then it scales into the long term. So as cards come out and synergy improves, because we're always going to try to make the best decks we can, why would we make worse decks?
True.
Yep.
It would continue to work with that kind of a synergy.
I think it would still be an issue of you have all these young heroes that are printed at 4 intellect, and then it's why are they at 4 intellect, and then you play them at 3, and you can just introduce the format like that, but it's still
I think it would
going to be hard if they also, because they also really want to make limited a priority, and I think they can't make
limited 3 intellect.
They can't make limited 3 intellect. It's going to be too low power, and it goes back to the fatigue issues that you had before some of the 30 card limits and like 8-pack sealed and stuff like that. I think the other thing is actually I think Commoner benefits from being a 4 intellect format still. And the reason for that is the equipment is significantly powered down. So you can still play these kind of like CC balanced cards, but it's all just commons, which can be good. Like Aether Ice Vein is still a really good card, and they've had to ban Belittle and Amulet of Ice, but like it's much easier to police that when you have way lower power equipment. You don't have Storm Striders for Icelander and Blitz.
I think
than Blitz, than policing all of Blitz with every piece of equipment. So I think like making Commoner should probably stay 4 health because otherwise it's not powerful enough. And Enigma is actually also a problem already in Commoner.
I think logistically it reminds me of how some limited formats have deck sizes and some don't. And that can be confusing.
That changed.
Wait, what?
It was changed to blanket always 30 cards.
Wait, like if I played Welcome to Wraith right now, it's 30 cards. I didn't know that got changed to blanket.
That did get changed.
Oh, well, then,
They took all of those rules and they retroactively applied them. So like you are not limited on legendary keyword stuff. That was a change they had to make for Mistveil.
That nerfs Drone of Brutality.
Slightly, in a way. But it makes Monarch really interesting because they changed the legendary rules. So Chain can have 2 Soul Reapings.
That's right. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They made all of those changes retroactive.
Oh my gosh.
So it's not different for each format. It is uniform, limited. These are the rules. Which I assume sealed Monarch would also be 8-pack now, which thank Christ.
Now I kind of want to try like Blitz 3 Intellect. Some cards get a lot more difficult to use. Pretty much anything that like needs a certain set of cards to go with it, right?
Any of your fuse stuff gets much harder to use, which like this is going into like the synergy like is significantly weaker, which is like the upside of this, which is you're keeping the equipment synergies, but you trade off with your deck synergies getting dropped, which is the kind of opposite of what Commoner is doing, where you drop all your equipment synergies, but you can still have a lot of synergy in your deck. Because you still get your full fuse package in Icelander.
That's kind of cool, though.
So, like, there's stuff there. I do think it is logistically harder than just, like, saying Blitz is -1 intellect.
So, I'm going to read what Ryan put in chat, because they said it's a very interesting idea, but 3 intellect feels like it moves the problems around rather than solving them. I don't know if that's true, because
I don't know.
It definitely lessens one problem, and it lessens one thing, and it strengthens another thing, which defining them as problems is
also relative.
It's also relative, kind of.
Yeah.
And then the next question was the one that I wanted to bring up. Have you addressed why Blitz? I mistake assuming Blitz. The mistake.
is the mistake assuming Blitz should be either beginner friendly or balanced?
I think it...
Which I guess then they said the LSS page, Blitz calls out fast paced and thrilling, not new player friendly or balanced.
I think that's true. It's definitely that's definitely my view of Blitz right now.
Yes. Whether or not it should be that is up for debate.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just CC with 40 cards and 20 health.
Oh, that's I guess a great question to ask Leah. What do you want Blitz to be? I'm gonna leave it open-ended. If Leah's here. Because I feel like the assumption... I'm just going to keep going as if Leah's mic broke again. I feel like the assumption of Blitz is that by making it a -1 intellect format, it makes it less...
lower variance.
Yeah, lower variance. What were the words? Fast-paced and thrilling. It makes it less fast-paced and thrilling and more new player-friendly and balanced. Which...
So is it just like trying to be shorter CC then? Like, so here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
With the question that just came up, if with the book ban that we had back in like September, they made LL and CC distinct formats.
Yes, one has books and one doesn't.
Yes, but one is significantly higher power and higher variance than the other.
One is the, shall I say, 80
Legacy.
80 card fast-paced and thrilling format, and the other one's the 80 card
Standard.
quote-unquote new player-friendly balanced.
More balanced, not necessarily new player-friendly, but yes.
Okay. I think
you're back. Yes, go ahead.
So, for the reason that this got to be a thought that I had, I was talking to many of my locals, and their concern is not that it's new player friendly, but that LSS has in the past used Blitz in higher competitive events. And they want to feel as if their choices are actually mattering into those events where points and things matter. So if Blitz is decided by the first, say, 12 cards that you draw, as opposed to, hey, did I get lucky and have synergy with these first 12 cards? Well, great. I guess I won the game. Otherwise, I guess I lost the game. And they really don't like having things that would be a pro tour or a calling or such decided on those things. They want to be able to make the decisions with those cards that matter and eke out that value.
I sympathize with that, and I want to retort, what's the last big Blitz event we had? I'm asking Kevin, as the Flesh and Blood historian, what the last big Blitz events we had.
So the only time we've had a tier 4 Blitz event,
I'll say how's 3 or 4? Is 3 or 4 okay?
So
what is 3?
Tier 3 would be, I'm going to include Battle Hardened and in there as well. So Battle Hardened Nationals Calling Plus, so PT and Worlds. I believe we've had a Blitz Battle Hardened or 2 recently, but
we have.
They're like 2.5. The only Calling or Nationals Plus event we've had recently that was Blitz was Worlds 1. Was the last time we did it.
Wow. That's actually
That was 2 years ago.
I mean, it was, to be honest, it was very scarring for some people, but like, it was a long time ago.
I liked that they did it, and then I liked their response of moving away from it the next year. They painted it as we're changing the way Blitz works, so we don't have to put it. We don't want to put it in Worlds, but then they noticeably did not bring it back this year.
Do you happen to know which Blitz Battle Hardens might have been? Because my assumption is it might be a smaller, I'm going to say community, right? So like an area that doesn't have big events, and it's more like we know they play a lot of Blitz here. We're trying to see if we want to get a calling here one day. Let's throw in a Battle Hardened to see what happens. Blitz is the most played format. We'll make it a Blitz Battle Hardened, and it's, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a country off the top of my head, but like something like really small, like.
So like I know there was one in Malaysia that Justin Koo won with Victor.
I don't know how big of events they get in Malaysia.
Let's see. Battle Hardened Manila, February 2024.
Where's Manila? I should know
won by Justin Koo. Philippines.
That's not a huge Flesh and Blood region, is it?
It was 7 or 8 rounds of Swiss, so it was in the it was probably in the 100-person range. Still. It was, I mean, that was a Blitz Battle Hardened, and then there was a couple in October 2023.
Ooh, and
then a couple before that.
Do ProQuests or RTNs come in Blitz?
They have not, as long as I have played.
Okay, so I guess my retort was, maybe it's not a concern. Maybe Blitz is just I don't know, we got 5 minutes and let's take a third of these CC decks apart and hit each other in the face, right?
Like, is that the role it plays in the game?
Maybe that's the role it plays.
And
maybe it's not a concern. I'd love to hear if you think it still is a concern.
Me?
If you're Leah. If your mic's working. Maybe I'm reading Ryan again. Maybe there's no change needed for Blitz. If Blitz is specifically limited to Armory, Skirmish, RTN, I certainly do not want to travel across state lines to play Blitz. I feel that. I don't want to do it either.
I know very few people who have traveled any substantial. I know one person.
We know one person.
Yes.
We know exactly one person. And if you're if you're a long-time listener of the show, you'll know too.
They stayed at my place for a skirmish.
That's crazy.
All the way over here. Yeah.
I respect the hustle.
Yeah.
The drive.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
I don't know of any RTNs in like the main circuit that have been Blitz. And there might have been for smaller ones that I just am not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But like any nationals that you have to qualify for, I don't know of any of those that have been Blitz since I've been playing.
Yeah. So I don't feel like it's a huge need to make it slower. And if you want to play a slower, yet faster, or at least like smaller deck format, Commoner's actually a great format to play. I think Clash is super exciting.
Yes.
Clash is like super flavorful as well. Like
yes, Clash is actually a great middle ground for that because you get a lot of the flavor equipment, but it's not crazy high power with all the legendaries and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Clash is great. I really like the idea of Blitz being a -1 intellect format because I think it is interesting, but I think are the logistics and the why.
It's for me, it's really just that all the young heroes are printed at 4 intellect.
It is a big one.
And they're going to stay at 4 intellect for limited because I think they care more about limited than Blitz. Which then you have to say, no. Only draw to 3.
Oh.
It's a 3. It's a -1 intellect.
It's like, no, and it's like you're just making up these playground rules, and it's like, no, it's just like frick. And it reminds me of it's gonna
be difficult.
When I first started playing, like within like the first month of me playing Flesh and Blood and owning Flesh and Blood cards, they errated Briar. I almost dropped the game right there because I was like, this is a game that's just gonna willy-nilly change their cards on me, and I'm gonna have no idea what any of them say. And I stuck around, and they haven't done it since. So, Ryan loves Clash.
Yeah.
I need Clash at Armories. I need Clash to be a supported LSS format.
Needs more stuff to happen.
It does.
We got something to do for that, right?
Actually, we do. Actually, I forgot if I told you, but we do.
Yeah, you did. That's why I know.
Oh, okay, then good. Yeah, we need to get on that.
Yeah.
Leah, if you have anything else you wanted to add to any of this or fight back at us, as soon as your mic is willing and able, we will let you do that. But I think I'm ready to move on to the next topic. Is there anything else on that?
I think I'm good.
I think you're good. Think I'm good? Yep. Okay.
I'm good if my mic is transmitting.
Your mic is now transmitting. Is there anything else you wanted to say on it?
Well, I think it's been argued pretty well. I enjoyed getting to hear your varying points and different opinions on it. It's an idea I just kind of had at the beginning of December. I would like to still see it tested in play and see how people feel about it. I have some locals that really enjoy Blitz, and I have some locals that really detest Blitz for many of the points given on both sides.
I hear that a lot.
I do have a few locals that do travel on the Pro Tour circuit. They're even going to London, and
oh, heck yeah.
They were upset that they maybe would have to qualify for events or skirmishes via Blitz. I guess that's kind of where some of these thoughts came from.
Mm-hmm.
My experiences in Blitz tend to be shorter than my buy rounds, so I'm not...
Yep.
I would like to get to play longer when I'm not on a buy. Yeah. So I prefer to slow it down a little, but Classic Constructed is more my jam anyways. And we play a lot of Commoner in my area, so we really do enjoy that. We have a lot of Commoner events fire.
That's actually super cool. I do want to say, to like wrap this whole thing up, that I've written down the idea like personally, and I'm going to be trying it. Like -1 intellect Blitz is something that is interesting to me, or actually, because of the brain, -1 intellect UPF sounds really funny to me. Especially if, like, I don't know, the guests don't know ahead of time, and then they're about to draw up, and then, no, I wouldn't do such a thing. Actually, I definitely would.
Do it. Do it, coward.
Might actually do that.
Yes.
That would be awesome. All right.
That would be so great.
Thank you so much.
Please, somebody show up with Data Doll for it. Please, somebody show up with Data Doll.
I like hype somebody up about Data Doll. I'm like, she's really strong right now in UPF.
No, okay,
that would be too far.
You need a spare deck. If you do that, you need a spare deck that they can play in case somebody brings Data Doll.
That's funny. Okay, I thank you so much for the call. Is there anything you want to shout out?
Nope. Not really. I'm good.
That's fine.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Sorry, my mic has been touch and go through the whole thing, but
your mic worked exactly when you needed it to, so it was great. Thank you. Thank you again so much for the call. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I'll probably keep watching.
Heck yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So the next take, I'm gonna start. We're gonna start. It's not gonna be rapid fire, but I have some
Are we recycling?
Stuff. Yeah, we're going through a couple of things that I saw on Twitter. Nah, I think we give Valda. They're making statements about what CC Valda's looking like. I think she's just gonna be a reprint of the adult.
Of the young.
Of the young, yes. The adult will be
at 42 health.
Sure, why not? It's gonna be crazy, but like.
It depends on if they. Does she have a special? She doesn't have a specialization.
She has a couple of cards with her picture on it.
She sure does. I think it depends a little bit on what they give her as a specialization. I would not be surprised if she's the first hero that they put at 40 health adult and 21 young, where it's not just X2.
That is interesting.
I mean, you're putting her in CC with the full Guardian pool, which we've seen is not necessarily enough for Betsy at 40 health, so they could probably put Valda at 42 and be fine.
Yeah. If they gave her no specializations and they just like slapped her in there, and then
they could give her a Betsy spec and it wouldn't matter apparently. So
2.
Yeah, 2.
So give Betsy a weapon, dang it. Okay, so these are some...
Dude, heroes are defined by their weapons.
Yes.
That's it.
I don't want new heroes. I want new weapons. I would play Bravo
Heroes
forever with different weapons. No.
Like,
yes. Sips.
The new Draconic heroes are so freaking dependent on their weapons, and we can't do shit until we know what their weapons freaking are.
And we'll know in 4 to 6 business months.
Weeks, I hope.
Weeks.
Sure.
Sorry. Okay, so here are some takes when I asked for hot takes on Twitter. Just some rough ones that I heard out. Famous says, no. Famous said nothing. Okay, Jimmy said, ban Rise Above. Okay, we're skipping that one.
Sure. You got it.
Betsy Log win.
Please.
Or a barrel. I'm cool with a barrel. Like, if she has, like, a barrel,
some...
like a Gragas kind of thing.
Is there some precedent for same but different? There is not, but, like, they're willing to move that needle, I think.
I think they're willing to move most
there
of
is
those
actually.
right now.
There is precedent for same but different.
Is it Decompose?
It's Arachne slip through the cracks.
What is that?
His Blitz version is your first stealth attack each turn gets go again, and he's not Chaos. And the adult version is Chaos.
Is that same but different?
Yes, because the young hero... No. The young hero literally can't play the same cards as the adult.
Are we getting solitary confinement in the next set?
We don't know.
Well, then we don't know.
No. So the Blitz deck collection is new Arachne, Web of Deceit, Marionette, same thing.
Yeah.
And OG Arachne Huntsman Young. It's not solitary confinement. They're giving solitary confinement the Ira treatment of just putting the adult version into the wild as a promo.
Can I draft OG Arachne?
It seems like it.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. The consolation that contract players get is they can just play Fate Seal in Limited.
We've seen that they have cards that are both stealth and contract.
See, the only reason, I like what Ryan put, the only reason it works is because Arachne slipped through the cracks.
Okay.
All right.
Like so there is precedent for same but different, and a little bit of that is also the Earth Heroes, Florian and Verdance having different breakpoints, but that's like a very justifiable, that's almost the same as scaling health to me.
That makes sense.
That's not really the same. Like Arachne slipped through the cracks in solitary confinement might be the first time I see it same but different. But I don't think they need to do it with Valda with what we know, but obviously they have the entirety of Mastery Pack to do it in. And I would be surprised if they didn't have a Valda spec. So
okay. So the next one was CNC is too expensive. CNC is like $100.
It is too expensive.
It is way too expensive.
They should reprint it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
they should do it.
That I have.
I'm going to ignore the take that you have because I've read it and it's nonsense and I don't want it repeated out in the wild.
I think there was one line in it that I thought was
sure. Oh yeah.
It resonated with me in like a romantic way, but like it I don't think it functions. And so the wording they used was they should make cards have a max rarity version and an easy to find version, and then the mindset is if you want to go all out and buy a $200 CNC, Mara can, and if William wants to go out and buy a $2 CNC, William can, and I can feed it to my dog and then buy another one. And
yes, and this is what they do with the majority of their Marvel treatments. I do see that point in chat, and I do want to address it and come back to it, but I want to finish this first.
Okay.
They have fabled CNCs already. So we have a max rarity version. Mara has her fully alternate in-universe only language that no one can read except her CNCs.
Okay.
She just altered a set of CNCs for me to just do full extended borders and make it look like super stylized and stuff, and it looks great.
Yeah.
CNC is too expensive. I have no problem with there being a couple sets of $30 to $40 Majestics.
Okay.
A couple.
Yeah.
And they are generics. I think Felling and Plowunder are probably a little bit too pricey for where they're at. I think they just need to do the Crown of Providence treatment. And they just print another set of black border CNCs, and they're probably in Hunted. I would not be surprised at all if they were in Hunted.
Yeah, it would fit very flavorfully, thematically, yada yada.
Yep. I would not be surprised at all if there are CNCs, black border, no rainbow foil version of them in Hunted. That would be good for the game. It would be reasonable. It would be a reasonable rarity. It would help Hunted prices stay relevant, and it would feel good to crack at a draft to open a CNC. Even if you can't play it, you're just like, sick, I got a Command and Conquer.
The CNC at home is Wreck Havoc. There's a lot of them that mess with Arsenal. The CNC at home
is Wreck Havoc.
Respect the name, is Wreck Havoc.
Yes. It is actually Wreck Havoc.
It is actually Wreck Havoc.
But then they completed the full cycle.
Yeah, but then they did the rest of... I think it's
with
cool.
That hand behind the pen set. I wish if those cards were 3 blocks, they would be much better.
You know what those cards are great for? Limited.
Yes. No, unironically.
Yeah. And
literally. You know what's really funny about those cards in Rosetta is if you have an Earth card in Banish as an Earth hero, or in Arsenal, it gets banished.
Oh. I thought it destroyed your Arsenal.
No, it banishes it.
That's convenient.
That's come up once for me. It was really funny.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yes, CNC is too expensive. It's $100. I paid $105 for one in Chicago. It's too much. I agree. I traded a freaking library for one.
Was
that correct long term? Probably not. Was it fine in the moment? Yeah.
I have more use for a CNC than I do a library.
I do.
Yeah.
I had 3 libraries at one point.
Kevin, you can only have one at a time.
Well, I got rid of 2 of them.
There you go.
So CNCs and gem packs, I would not. So okay, this is the other half of the point which I didn't like. I don't like CNCs and gem packs.
Okay.
That's gonna make hoarding gem packs way too valuable.
That's a bad thing.
Yes.
We want people to be excited when they open them, yet not want to hoard them.
Yes.
Which is kind of a thin line.
It is a very fine line. And they're probably going to err on the side of a little bit undervalued, but if they continue with the promos that they have right now, it's going to be fine. EA Flitterings and Fruits of the Forest and Rootbound Carapace and all of those, fantastic for gem pack type stuff. Those promos have been excellent. Don't put CNCs and precons in armory decks, please, for the love of God.
No,
because those armory decks are not going to be $40 MSR. They're not going to go out at MSRP. They're going to sell for $200.
Actually,
they're going to be scalped for $200.
I'm sure
minimum.
My local LGS would love if CNCs were in the precon.
Yes. That individual LGS would. The overall market would not.
No, they wouldn't. It's not a good thing. That would be
bad for the overall market. That's not how you want to do it. And we have an excellent example of how they should do reprints. And it was Crown of Providence in Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, so walk me through that, because you told me about it in our little private message, and I was like, I could probe why, but I'd rather you explain it to me here.
Sure. So at Baltimore, I specifically remember this.
Pro Tour Baltimore?
Pro Tour Baltimore, when they were first revealed that Prism was getting a new hero, and that Vincent was the new Shadow Runeblade, so they were just revealing Dusk Till Dawn stuff. Cold Foil Crown of Providence was $500. And Rainbow Foil was $250.
I wouldn't even know that. Like that's so high above me, I couldn't see it.
So I remember that
frick?
because I had a cold foil, and I was like, I should cash this out. I don't play it in Icelander, and I should have cashed it out.
Why you didn't? You didn't?
Because then Crown of Providence was reprinted at non-foil in Dusk Till Dawn, and it is like $80 right now for non-foil. It's like $100 for rainbow foil, and it's like $200 for cold foil. And that is where those prices should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Those are reasonable prices for one of the best pieces of equipment in the game. That is also a generic.
Yeah.
And you could take and put into any deck, and it would be fine.
I'm so glad that Balance of Justice had its flash in the pan, so that I could afford to get Crown of Providence. And now Balance is gone.
And now Balance is cheap.
Now Balance is cheap.
Yeah, Balance got its adjustment because of the book ban.
I know.
It doesn't need a reprint because of the book ban.
So wild.
So like, that's how reprints should work.
Not book banning. That's not how we should do the market. Not for Balance, but for
Providence.
Crown. Yes, for Crown.
Crown of Providence is how they should do reprints like that, where it's like it's a generic staple that they want to keep in the game. It's a great example of how to do it. It worked. You can't argue that it didn't work. It is 1/3 the price to get a Crown of Providence as it was at its peak. When Lexi and Oldhim were the best decks, and they don't even play it.
True. Oh my gosh. So like, Crown of Providence right now is how much at its
like
cheapest?
$80 non-foil.
At its cheapest rarity, $80.
Something like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a look.
So you would say a playset of Crown of Providence is $87
non-foil, 93 for rainbow foil, 160 for cold foil.
Let's say 90 for rounding's sake,
Sure.
and also for this example's sake.
Yep.
A playset of Crown of Providence is $90.
Yeah.
How much should a playset of CNC be? There is a correct answer.
I would be okay with $90.
$90 for a playset of CNC?
For a playset of CNC, yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I'm so glad we're on. I assumed we were on the same page, but I'm so glad we are.
I'm gonna be upfront about this. I would lose $400.
No, because you'd cash out beforehand. Because
no, I wouldn't, because I want two sets of play. I need two sets of CNCs because I have altered CNCs and not. And if judges ever say that the altered ones are not playable, I need to have the regular ones.
Well, this is a whole new argument. This is the whole.
No, this
what
is
is
a
the value?
Case
what is the
not,
value of a card that you plan on using? Because if you're not going to sell it, what's the value of the card?
Yes, sure.
You lose no value. You weren't going to sell it to begin with.
I want to put an asterisk on that.
Okay.
Because this is actually a full discussion that I or like a full like train of thought that I had earlier today.
Okay.
I don't think that's necessarily true. But I understand you're paying to be able to play the card. That's where your money went. Did you get your money's worth already? That's it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's my entire thought.
I think if the most played generic staple 3 of is $30 a card, that is a healthy place for the game to be.
I actually like that because Jaw Audio said $20 should be the perfect price for a Staple Majestic. The Staple Majestic generic. I'm cool if it's 30.
I'm cool if it's 30. I'm cool if it's a little bit higher for like literally the most staple. Like I sent you the picture of top 8 of Battlehardened Wellington, which was like was like middle of December or something.
Yeah.
And it was Enigma, KO, Zen, New, Prism. 7 of those heroes played 3 CNCs. I'm okay with if that's how good CNC is, I'm okay with exactly CNC being a little bit more expensive.
Like $31.
Like at most 40.
At most 40.
At most 40. Most generic staples, Majestics should not be like above 20.
I wonder what James White answer would be like behind closed doors. That's what I want to know.
I think he would. I would hope that he's somewhere close to this, but he probably wouldn't be upset if it was in the 50 range, if I had to guess. But like, if it's exactly one card in the entire game, I can live with that. It's not there right now.
No, it's at like $100.
I paid 105, and it's at 105.
What do you mean you paid 105? When did you buy
I paid 105 to get my 6th CNC.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't think, let's see. I think I got one for, I think I pulled one. And then or maybe I traded for one, and then I bought two, each of them for $60. And this was the beginning of the year, last year? It was about a year ago?
That's about where I got my first set in 2022.
Okay.
Which, it's interesting because like that price is only going to go up until it gets a reprint, because if the game continues to grow, that price is only going to go up until we get a reprint.
Like $60 for a single card, not the playset. That was like, I had to do some
that's hard.
Yeah, that's really hard to do.
Yeah, that's hard for any casual player.
$60 for a playset of a card is
to get a playset. Oh, $60 total for a playset.
Yeah. So like $60 for a card, really, really hard. A card that is not a full playset. $60 for a playset of a card, like let's say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of Victor cards. What's
Gold Main Estate?
Gold Main Estate?
Gold Main Estate is like your best example because it's an expansion slot card as well. Is
it $20 right now? How much is it?
No.
$13? $7?
I think it might be in the 7 range.
It might be in the 7 range? Okay.
It is $2.70.
No way! I paid way more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so everyone did because Victor was much more playable.
Yeah, true. He's not as playable right
MST,
now. Yeah.
And it has only gone down. That is going... By the way, that's going to go up a bit when Enigma leaves.
Well, how much is, like, Felling?
50 plus.
Jeez, is there a great example of a $20 card? How much is Mordred Tide?
Probably like 8. Felling is 61.
61? Mordred Tide's $4?
Plow Under's 32.
Closer.
I'm gonna look at Revel and Runeblood. That is 11. Great place for a very powerful Majestic.
Is there
and I'm
a
gonna look at
$20
Swarming.
Majestic? Swarming, that's a good one.
Swarming Gloomveil is $20 on the nose.
Okay, Swarming Gloomveil.
Playable in basically every single Runeblade that is currently active. Less so in Aurora, but like you have 2 very popular Runeblades right now, where Swarming is a staple, basically.
2 popular and honestly like
3. Sorry, 3.
3 popular. Okay, 2 popular and 2 on the cusp.
It's less played in Vincent and less played in Aurora.
I don't think wants to play it.
Not as much.
Swing Big is $20. That's
Swing Big is 20. That's fine. Yeah. That is like
great actually.
That's the second staple Majestic that Brute has, and the other is Blood Rush.
I think Rachel.
And Blood Rush is like $5.
I think Rachel paid $20 twice for Swing Big. She's got 2 Swing Bigs. I think.
Yeah, Blood Rush is $5. Yeah, it's had a reprint.
You don't understand the Felling price? It's a good card.
That is also Starvo prices.
Oh yes, Starvo wants
it. It is double demand because of Starvo for LL, in particular around Chicago, which I actually don't know that a lot of Starvo players were Florian players.
Erase Face? Snag is not $20.
Snag went up to $20. It's not anymore, but it definitely did on new release. New. $13 for Snag.
No.
I got my playset at $2 a piece.
I think they were like 50 cents when I got them.
That makes sense. So like new is like the best thing to happen to Snag in years. Literally years.
Nothing good has happened to Snag. I'm a Snag hater.
So like, okay, circling back, yes, CNC is too expensive. Yes, it needs a reprint. No, you shouldn't do it in pre-cons. That's a great way to just like screw your game and your game's economy. And like either CNC plummets to 0 and people have issues with it, or it screws the price of the pre-con and you can't buy it because it's bought out because of scalpers. Like, that line in the middle where it works is just too thin for like you to reasonably hit as a company. And you already have a model of reprinting cards that works, which is you follow the Crown of Providence model, which is just you put it in another set.
Yeah.
Add a non-foil.
Yeah. And the set would be a great set to have it in.
They reprinted Tekla Foundry Heart in
Bright Lights?
Bright Lights. Tekla Foundry Heart went from $100 to
wow. I guess I don't realize how much like a reprint actually hits a card. It's a
Bright
lot.
Lights skewed it a little bit because like there weren't significantly more mech players after Bright Lights than before, but there was suddenly like 3 times the Foundry cards.
All right, now it's time for the William PSA of don't buy boxes, buy singles.
Yes,
Kevin. I don't know if you buy boxes anymore. You buy boxes to crack sometimes?
If my LGS is giving me a good deal on them.
$40 Everfest boxes. I don't know if that's still a thing anymore.
Not quite. I got a box of Everfest for like $65, and it paid back to me. And then I got a case of Misfail at $60 a box, which is a very good price. And I'm willing to pay out that LGS that much because they're good people.
To circle completely back, that's gonna be the quote of the show.
Yes.
The original take that I saw on Twitter was there should be, CNC is too expensive. We should put them in pre-cons because we need a max rarity version and an easy to find version. And our ultimate opinion is there already is a max rarity version.
Yep.
Which
Fable.
is Mara either painted on it or it's a Fable. And
Yeah,
there is a easy to find version. The easy to find version is expensive and it's
more expensive than it should be. Yes.
Yeah, more expensive than it should be. And so it just needs to be reprinted. They have a good reprint policy of just throw it in the next set that it makes sense in. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we have a expansion slot dedicated to a reprint.
Yep.
Like if CNC for the Hunted was in the actual set as a reprinted Majestic, I think it would make sense thematically, and I wouldn't think too much of it, even though it is just an absolute bomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you say that already. Like you say that, but then like it's like somebody's like super excited because they pulled it in their pool, and then when they play it, it's just a 2 for 6, and they blocked with 2 cards, and then the game continued.
I am anticipating both Draconic Heroes having 1-cost daggers with Go Again that will curve into it, and then I believe you can use any of the Arachne Demi Heroes attack reacts on it.
Ooh, never mind. That would be a great card to put in an expansion slot.
I think the Demi Heroes can only give stealth all the effects, potentially, but I think it should just be an expansion slot card because it's easier.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if CNC got reprinted in this set. I wouldn't be surprised if Warmonger's Diplomacy got reprinted.
I wouldn't be surprised if... Yeah. Oh, man. If Warmonger's got a reprint. Heck yes, dude. I want that one reprinted so bad because I don't have a playset of that yet.
Yep. Is the Arena Prize reprint? True.
Ooh, actually. That is the
Kasai Command and Conquers. Yep.
Wow.
There's like 58 of them in the world or something.
It's so thin.
Sure. Like that is true max rarity. They're like 2K a piece.
It was funny hearing people be like, I don't understand why CNC is so expensive. We got a reprint in heavy hitters or after heavy hitters because of the Kasai ones.
No, we didn't. Dedicated reprint expansion slot would be good. Because I think we do, like, CNC now, we do Warmonger's next set, we do E-Strike again. Apparently, we need E-Strike to be reprinted, because it's $50 again.
I think that's good. I like that.
The expansion, the reprint,
the reprint slot
okay.
and an expansion, whatever.
Yeah.
I think we are getting. No, I guess not. Like, I wanted to say, I think we're getting a little convoluted in the packs. Like, I don't think it's that.
It's just an expansion slot. We've already got 15 of them. Expansion. Like,
I don't think you give it a fancy name. You just say CNCs in the expansion slot.
Yeah, you just put Command and Conquer in the expansion slot. It's not hard to do. They did it in Dusk Till Dawn with Surgical Extraction.
Earlier, Jaw Audio said we put CNC in the gym packs, and then we make the gym packs out of a dissolving material so that they eventually open themselves anyways. That sounds like a terribly great idea, and I love it. Is there anything else?
Science there that I want to unpack at some point, maybe.
CNC and Smash Palace? I could see that.
Maybe. Okay. I'm assuming we're done with this. Before we go on to our next thing real quick. Blitz Valda is called Valda Bright Axe. Mastery Pack Adult Valda is called Valda Seismic Impact. This would not be the first time that the young has had a different title from the adult. And this is Prism Advent of Thrones and Prism Awakener of Soul.
Aren't they both Prism, comma?
They are. Valda Bright Axe is not comma Bright Axe?
I think that's her last name.
That's her literal... Okay, then it's Valda Bright Axe, comma Seismic Impact is what it should be.
Well, that's a lot of words.
It is. I don't know.
But I think we already have precedent. Don't we have precedent of a...
Don't tease us like that, Marceline. Don't.
I wanted to say Marcy because Marceline, and I just watched a lot of Adventure Time, and I was gonna be that's maybe a little too cutesy, but Marceline, no, it's just Bright Axe. That's her last name.
Okay.
She comes from a long line of Bright Axes.
They have had heroes with they've adjusted that, but it's been the same stuff before.
Is that the Marceline?
Fangmire?
Do I know who that is? I feel like I know who
We've seen her before in here.
Is that I'm getting off topic so bad.
You are.
What else did we want to talk about? Or was there anything else you wanted to talk about on that subject? Because I feel like we went into that one enough to not have to pull up other things.
We need to revisit this anyways take. There was another one.
Frank. Archetypes. Archetype naming
that one sort
in
of.
Flesh and Blood. I want the hero name to take up 2 lines. Yes, let's go.
They could.
That would be awesome.
Where is it?
My opinion on archetypes in Flesh and Blood is that eventually there will become a time where someone with a lot of influence and power will basically forcibly dictate how archetypes are named in Flesh and Blood, and until that day, everyone's just going to argue about them. I have my own opinion on how they should be named that I've shared with Kevin. We've gone back and forth on it. But I think I think literally what's going to happen is it's going to be like SCG, the company, decides to start posting deck lists with the archetype names at the end of it. Like Florian,
and we're just going to be shoehorned into it.
They're going to say like Florian Tempo, and then someone's going to be like, why Tempo? And they're going to be like, because it disrupts. And then it's like, okay, well, that's what Tempo means now because they're SCG and they named it. So
yeah. Okay, yeah. It was,
or like if Arsenal Pass does something like that. Hunted spoilers on the 11th. Marcy's coming in here and mess with us. That's what it is. Wait, speak of the devil.
On Super Armory. So Super Armory. Oh, part of the stream for Toronto, we might get spoilers.
It is. Marina is also Marceline Fang. They're the person. That's why I remembered the name. They're the person who basically like skyrocketed Flesh and Blood Blue Sky.
Yes.
That's what it was. Yep.
They're the ones who had the follow list, right?
Yes.
That's it.
I think Tyler Luce made it, and then
really popped
Marina, Marna, Marceline, however they want to be addressed, basically pushed it to everyone.
Hamilton could have done it if he wanted to, probably.
I think he could. I don't know if... Does he care about that?
He is not assertive enough as a person.
I think if he just, like, did it, like, you know, in his own, like, where he's like, you know, Florian tempo.
Maybe.
Deck, you know, and he just started addressing it like that, then
Maybe.
people would just agree with him.
I don't know.
Your Discord yeeted me into a call, and then I almost... I'm so sorry. Thank you for joining the Discord, I assume. I think that's it. Is there anything else you wanted to cover? Marceline, did you have something you wanted to talk about because you joined the Discord for a second?
I think I'm good. We just have Atlanta and Hong Kong this weekend.
I'll be watching those.
Toronto next weekend, and then world premiere the weekend after that. So we're close. We got a couple.
Tyler Luce, frick.
Yeah.
Lucy? I need to meet him in person. Them.
We got a couple like lame duck format events, but
I love those.
Yeah.
They
fun.
They do one or two things. They reaffirm what we already know, or they show us something we didn't, and I love that.
That's every event.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone wins this event, and it's not a lame duck format for them because
Sure.
they earned it, and they get paid.
It's
Paid.
still a lame duck format. It's not a
Sure.
lame duck event.
Yeah.
To find
Bullander is not an archetype. All right. This is why we're ending it.
That is an archetype. That is a style of playing Icelander. It is not an archetype of Flesh and Blood. Okay.
There we go. Okay, we've finished that. All right. I think that wraps it up. Kevin, any shout-outs?
I don't know. I think I'm good.
Table Pit merch store. Yes, absolutely. Of course, we have T-shirts and hats and water bottles and all sorts of stuff. And
you live stream this weekend.
And I live stream. Okay, so yeah.
UPF.
No.
Loose.
So yes. I'm going to be doing
last
live.
Weekend.
Last weekend.
You live
yes,
streamed.
You're right. That's it. I live streamed last weekend to UPF. If you haven't checked that out and you like UPF, you should check it out. As for this weekend, this Saturday is going to be the art stream with Amy. Hopefully, if the Bridges Wendell household is not still affected by the plague. And loose leaf tea. Okay. Also, I'm gonna let you find that, but every Thursday we do the Pit Against live show. So if you want to check this out, what is your hot take? No, we didn't go over your hot take.
Oh,
your hot take. Was
Fab people on social media aren't true representation of greater Fab. That a lot of people don't prioritize social media and prefer in-person interactions. Talk to people at your local armory about Fab news and events, and really listen to when they bring up concerns. Yes.
I struggle to call it a take, but what I do want to say it's a very good point to bring up because I feel like what some people, if you're watching this show, you're in the top 1% of Flesh and Blood players, not necessarily in play pattern, but you are invested that much.
10%.
5.
Game's not that big yet.
Okay, that's fair. So
game is small enough that a significant number of people are going to go to social media to get more.
Sure, true. That is true. But I do mean to say that a majority of Flesh and Blood players are not on Bluesky and probably not on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
yes.
But there's just people out there, right? Like a majority of our locals are in the local Discord, but there's a handful of them that aren't.
But not on Twitter or Bluesky.
Yeah, they're not on Twitter or Bluesky, and they're not and some of them aren't even on Discord.
Yep.
Like they just show up when they can show up.
Yep.
And they're better than me. What was I getting at?
Yes. So
I like the statement. Yeah.
Follow LSS's example with gem packs. Trust your LGS. Trust the people at your LGS. They know what they want out of the game.
That's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who you are playing the game with are the people who want to play the game.
Yeah. Like the take we had earlier from our caller, Leah, when they were talking about, you got the idea from talking to the locals about their opinions on Blitz.
Yeah.
People who are not a fan of Blitz at higher tier events. I think it could be a potential take of sometimes there's an attitude of, oh, they have 3K followers, therefore their opinions matter a lot more than anyone at my local armory. I can kind of see that. There are people who are just like, Brendan.
I think the people who say that are the ones with the hot take, not you.
Yeah, because I feel like just because
like,
I don't know, just because William says something.
I've seen some people with lots and lots of followers in this game. I'm going to narrow it down to this game. I've seen people in this game with lots and lots of followers, and their takes are pretty mid and illogical. Or, like, some people, they just aren't playing the game anymore, and they're still spouting their opinions. And it's like,
your opinion's 2 years old now.
No.
Yeah. So
like the people who are playing the game are the people that should be listened to. So.
Yeah, and most people are playing at the, like, I'm gonna say, like, ProQuest RTN level, right? So like you go to Armories, you go to your ProQuest, you go to RTNs, you go to a Battle Hardened if it's within like 3 hours, and those people, that probably makes up a majority of the player base, or maybe even lower than that, and those are the people whose opinions matter locally.
Yep.
So.
Yep. You're not the one with the hot take. It's the people who are bozos.
I like bringing it up and reminding myself, because it also works like, you know, you're on social media and you hear someone who said it and the 3 people who liked it.
Yeah.
Happy world birthday, Knuckles.
New Year.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year's, everyone. I want to hear Marceline's
last bit,
and then we'll go.
Yeah.
What am I expecting in the top 8 of Hong Kong and Atlanta?
Enigma, Viserai, Zen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Content creators and pro players.
Sorry, Hong Kong, you're going to see at least Putting on Zen, Shing on New.
New's good.
You'll see 1 or 2 other Zen probably from Blue Pitch, maybe, and then a couple Enigma from Blue Pitch or otherwise. Atlanta is much more of a toss-up.
How many people are on Blue Pitch?
8-ish.
Have we had a tournament where the entire top 8 is a team?
Not that I know of.
I'm just saying it would be kind of funny.
It'd sure be funny.
Marina Fang, on the other side of this coin, content creators and pro players and William and anyone with more public following have an incredibly serious responsibility to their community. Oh no. And there's a very fine line between using influence for good and taking advantage of your exposure. Maybe I like whining. No, I think it's a good point, but like
I agree with the asterisk that we understand that they're still human.
I also agree with the asterisk of the responsibility will not be treated like a responsibility.
Explain.
It should be their responsibility to not do stupid stuff or say stupid stuff or use their platform for evil. Sure. But that's not the case. Most people are just using their platform. Like, this is how I talk into the void, so I talk into the void. Like you don't write up a tweet and then you look back at it and you're like, how are people going to think about this?
Oh, it's still just okay. It's still just them talking. It's still just them being themselves, presumably.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just them being, and the asterisk. Then mine follows from that of they're human.
They're gonna, they're
gonna misword stuff. They're
things.
gonna. There is some people are gonna do stupid stuff. Some people are gonna word things improperly, and it's gonna look stupid. And then some people are gonna be really fantastic.
Yeah,
sure. Like social media.
No, I appreciate it, and it's good to take a step back and think about that from time to time.
Yes.
But I think we're gonna wrap it up here, right?
But also,
go ahead.
All of us have that responsibility with just the people we interact with. Like,
is there more responsibility to those who have more influence?
Not yet in Flesh and Blood, because we're not big enough yet.
Not yet in Flesh and Blood.
Yet.
They should maybe think about it sometime. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We do this every Thursday. We also have the design table, an art stream, a chill art fab themed stream Saturday. I got a new video coming out this weekend. This will be the final time I say this in 2 months, because I've been saying that for literally 2 months on this video because holidays. Bye.